up guys, HL here, coming to you with another World of Warships Blitz video. Before we start the video though, I just wanted to thank you guys so much for helping this channel reach 100 subscribers. While I apologize for this video being late as it should have been 1 or 2 weeks earlier, let me explain some of the reasons on why it was late. Firstly, I have changed my editing software. I use Kinemaster, which is a software for Android and Apple devices, but I decided to switch to DaVinci Resolve 16, which was for PC, as that would allow me to have more freedom in editing my videos. However, the problem arose when I discovered my old laptop could not handle DaVinci Resolve as the processing power was simply not enough. So I decided to solve the problem by ordering a laptop. However, the postal service got stuck as the COVID-19 virus is making post very slow in my country. So yeah, the laptop basically just arrived last week at the time of video uploading, or I would say, let's say last week. So yeah, that's basically why I had to wait until now. I was also setting up the new laptop, so basically everything took a while, but this video is finally coming, and again, thank you guys for supporting my channel. So back to today's topic, we will be looking at some tips and tricks on how you can improve your Amagi gameplay. I am making this video because one of the subscribers wanted to see it, so I have decided to share this with you guys. Personally, I find the Amagi can be a little challenging, but there are some tips and tricks which I will be talking about today which can ease up your gameplay. Also, if you guys have seen the new intro, I wonder what you guys think about it. Is it better or is it worse? Please tell me in the comment section down below. Also, I have noticed that there's quite a lot of people watching that are not subscribed, so if you could subscribe to my channel, it would definitely help me out and I would be very grateful. So yeah, that's it. Let's cut the crap and let's get into the video. Just before we get into tip number 1, I just wanted to share the build I use for Amagi with you guys, so you guys can see what I use. This isn't necessarily the best build, it's just what works for me. What works for you could be different, but I am just showing you what I like to use. So feel free to copy it if it works for you or if you like the build. Coming in at tip number 1 is the classic tip, which is basically don't show your broadside. By this is because Amagi is a very big ship. Her length is pretty long, which is kind of a thing with Japanese battleships. Her rudder shift makes her turn very slowly, she has a large turning circle, and her armor isn't very good. So showing your broadside will cause you to take lots of penetrations and even citadels easily. Her turrets are also very easily broken if you get a big shot broadside from something like, let's say, a Roma or a Richelieu. So basically yeah, don't show your broadside. Always angle as it helps you minimize damage. I also don't mean by saying you should go bow in, because the Amagi only has 4 guns being able to shoot the enemy if you go bow in. So basically try to turn just enough that you are still angled and can shoot the enemy. This is basically like getting a balance between how angled you can be versus how much you can shoot. This whole thing is also very situational based, so in certain situations you can fully go broadside, though they are quite rare. And in some situations, it is better that you be angled or not even get into that situation in the first place, as let's say there's a lot of stuff running around like destroyers dropping torps. You can't be like a Roma. You can't rush, you can't dodge, because your turn time is, your rudder shift is very slow and your whole ship is very big. So basically if a torp comes, you are going to struggle to dodge it. Your torpedo protection is, I would say, okay, it isn't Roma levels of good. You might be able to survive 1 or 2 hits, but you definitely should avoid getting hit, as Roma is kind of, I'm sorry, not Roma, the Amagi is kind of a tofu ship. Coming up at tip number 2 is the option to use 4 out of 5 turrets to shoot. Well, firstly, you may ask why you want to use lesser guns if you have 10 and use only 8. Well, the way Amagi's turrets work, the middle one, which is the third one, whether you're counting from the front or back, requires you to show quite a bit of broadside to shoot as compared with shooting just the front 2 and the rear 2. So basically only using 8, while it may reduce your damage, but it also reduces the number of shells you will take in your broadside. which basically means you lose less health. As I mentioned in tip number 1, you will easily lose guns. I once managed to collect an Amagi in my Roma. I hit the Amagi lost 3 of its guns, the Amagi damage count, and I shot again, and he lost 3 of his turrets again. So that is basically why you only want to use 4 out of 5 to shoot. Doing so also, like I said, allows you to angle, which means torpedoes will have or rather let's say destroyers will have a harder time dropping a huge salvo on you. Coming in at tip number 3 is to stay situationally alert. Well, firstly, let me define what situational awareness means. It basically means, as you might guess, being aware of your surroundings, which includes ships that have gone into concealment, and you have to predict that they may come from your left or right, they may drop torps, or they may decide to rush you, so you need to start acting in order to counteract that. So, why is this important in the Amagi? Well, basically, as I touched in tip number 1, the Amagi is big, it's slow in every way, it turns slowly, it accelerates slowly, the guns travel slowly, especially if you are using a turret traverse build, so basically you are very easy to outflank. Basically, if you say, let's see, a destroyer is coming towards you and it suddenly goes into concealment, it doesn't mean she's gone. The destroyer may actually be trying to come around and drop torpedoes, which means you should try to predict where it moves and move away to make it harder for the destroyer to torp you. Don't let anything get close to you, as I mentioned, the Amagi is very slow, which means something fast like the Roma could maneuver behind you faster than you could turn around. So the other ship could shoot you and you couldn't get your guns to bear on that ship, which basically means you will not be damaging them, but you will be eating a lot of salvos. Generally, it is best to be situationally alert and stay with your teammates instead of rushing to the front, as you can do with some fast ships like the Roma, as the Amagi is really soft and you need to be really careful. Being alert also can let you move into some positions where you can catch the enemy's broadside, which can increase your score and basically let you gain trophies faster, get more experience, and get more success in the Amagi, making the gameplay less boring and more fun. For tip number 4 is fire the main turrets individually instead of one salvo. Well, firstly, what do I mean? I basically mean instead of double tapping the fire button and firing a whole salvo, you tap it once, then you aim again and tap it again. Doing this, for some people it works, I don't like using this because it's just not my playstyle, but it might work for you, who knows, so give it a try. Basically, this allows you to adjust your guns according to the dispersion, as the shells fly a little bit slowly, I would say, have a slow travel time, and as you can probably see from the videos, Amagi's dispersion is pretty crappy, which means the shells can either hit or the shells can just go all over the place, and just like out of 10 shells, only one shell hits the target and you get a ricochet. So basically doing this will give you a little bit of a better aim, let's say. So yeah, basically you can try it out. I repeat again, it doesn't work for me, so you see I'm not doing it because I don't like to use it. But some players use it and they have great success. So yeah, everybody's playstyle is different and I highly recommend trying out just to see how well it works for you. Last but not least, at tip number 5 is to not engage in a brawl with the Amagi. For those who are familiar playing with the Amagi, you definitely know she has a really soft broadside, or rather the whole ship, let's just say it's really soft, so she's basically one of the softest tier 8s. This basically means if you try to brawl with even something like North Carolina, you will lose, and we don't need to talk about the Bismarck. We know the Bismarck will outright clap the Amagi at close range. This is basically because the Amagi's armor is too soft and her guns simply don't fire fast enough to effectively take out these ships. As you can see, the Germans have high powered secondaries and the Americans have the benefit of better armor and let's say that a rapid reload, which the Amagi does not have, so the Amagi is at a disadvantage. Her slow turn time, as I mentioned, is also a problem, as faster ships like Roma will just outmaneuver to the back, which means you can hit them but they can hit you, so brawling is strongly not recommended. But also here I just wanted to mention that if you do find yourself getting into a brawl, which sometimes you can't avoid, it just happens, or you see a really good opportunity that you can rush, I would strongly recommend using precise aim, consumable, and aim at the enemy's guns, as in aim to hit their guns. Because personally I find shooting their guns tends to give me citadels more easily, as well as allow you to take out the guns. Well, why is taking out the guns good? Basically, it forces them to damage con, which means they have to reload again, so they can't shoot you. This thus reduces the effect of your poor armor on your overall health, as they can't shoot you, which means you don't lose that much health. So that basically is one of the things I like to use when I brawl. So as you can see, I basically use this shoot turret trick to shoot almost any ship at close range. So here we have the match. Basically it's Golden Channel Center Control, which is a little bit of a nightmare for the Amagi, as I don't like moving into the center cap with Amagi, as the armor is simply too soft. But from the matchmaking, the ship I am concerned of from the enemy's side is their key, because the key is basically an upgraded Amagi with torpedoes and slightly more accurate guns, I think. So yeah, I don't want to fight the key head on because she'll also deal lots of damage to me. I start the battle spawning on the left side and repeatedly ping my team to capture the area. In this battle, we are up tier as well, so that is a good thing, as Amagi is already a little difficult to play, so we don't need to be bottom tier. The enemy team has started capturing the area. Some of the cruisers on my team are doing so as well, and I would like to join them, but the Amagi's armor is a strong limitation factor. I spot the enemy New Orleans, decide to want to shoot her, but she starts turning in and it's a bot, so I don't want to shoot the bot, as the bot can have some really strange maneuvers. Enemy key appears, I take a shot, and you can see this time the dispersion was pretty good, and I got 5 salvos and 7,000 damage, which is pretty decent, I would say. The enemy team has captured the area. My team though, they seem to be allergic to the capture point, not sure why. So I am basically sitting on the outside sniping for now and trying to get them to capture the area, as I can't really do it myself. I take another shot on the key, hoping to be lucky like the previous one, and I get 7 hits, but there's lots of overpens, so I don't deal too much damage. The bot New Orleans rushes and she is taken down by my teammates, which is a good thing. I am being shelled, that's why I reverse, because I don't plan to eat big damage at the start of the game, especially if I see that my team isn't playing very well. I don't want to eat big damage, as I will have to start playing for damage to ensure I don't lose trophies or get a low score. Take another shot at the key. This time this person decides to go meh, and I only get 3 hits, which is kind of sad. I'm backing away. The key is getting out of my range, so I decide that I want to shoot the King George V, but the guns are just not really on target. I start accelerating forward, but the King George V is also reversing away, and I see the Belfast pop up, so I decide to try to hit the Belfast, as cruisers will take lots of damage from battleships. However, the Belfast turned, so I only got 6 shots and didn't get too much damage, as I think most of them were overpens. At this point, I'm starting to move to the right side of the map, because I can see my team just will not capture, and there's no point sitting on the left side with the key shooting at me. So I decide to push to the right and try to start playing to increase my damage. I take a blind shot at Belfast, however, Belfast got really lucky and none of my shots hit, which means I am starting to get spammed. You can see I took a little bit of damage from the key because I was an angle, but luckily the key missed. On this flank though, we have a Xianyang and a Leon. I am not too afraid of the Leon because the caliber is considered small, so she will not get too big hits on me. The Leon armor is also pretty pathetic, so my huge Amagi guns will be able to deal damage, so I decide to push this flank. The Colorado though is just sitting there and going to get topped by the Xianyang, so there's nothing I can do about it but try to take out the Xianyang and get the kill for myself. I have AP loaded because I can't switch to HE in time, but I just deal enough damage that I take out the Xenia. In the meantime, the Leon is starting to push in. I'm not really sure why. The Leon will just clearly not win a fight against the Amagi, as the Amagi's guns are just too big. As you can see, the Leon has already been chunked by my teammates, and I fire a salvo which takes out the Leon in 1 hit. 3 hits and 1 citadel, which basically means Leon has been deleted. Now I am starting to turn back into the cap, still picking my teammates to capture, as I have taken out some enemies, and I hope my teammates would finally wake up and realize that they need to capture the point to win. They are still, however, not doing it. I spot the Belfast, and the King George 5 is over there, so I am being very careful as I push in, because again, as I mentioned, the Amagi's armor isn't particularly good, so I don't plan to get chunked so quickly, as I need to play for the damage. It's really annoying though that the Belfast is in the smoke, so I have no choice but to take a shot at the King George 5. Activate precise aim, shoot at the King George 5, but King George 5 heals, so I end up just damaging her, and the friendly carrier gets the kill. Belfast appears. At this point in my mind, I was debating whether she has torps, and I came to the conclusion that she does not have torps, so I decided to start pushing in. You can see at this point the Belfast is perpendicular from me, but I am not firing because the dispersion in the Amagi basically can go in a V shape, so I had waited until she turned, then I shot her and deleted her in 1 salvo. At this point, we have 2 battleships and 1 carrier to 1 battleship and 1 carrier, so I am confident that if we push, we can wipe out the enemy's team and win the game. However though, my hopes are dampened when I see our friendly Bismarck at the corner of the map. She's a little too far to deal damage directly, as the Bismarck isn't very accurate, so I end up having to push this key myself. You can see I got a citadel on her, but she probably also got a citadel on me. So basically I am trying my best to just take her out right now. I'm picking the carrier, and thankfully the carrier is helping me. I fire another salvo, take out the key, and now the carrier is starting to hit me, which isn't a really good thing, as Amagi doesn't have very good protection against carrier damage. At this point I spotted the carrier, but I am turning as I hope to dodge the torpedoes. The Bismarck is finally chasing up, but she's still a little far and behind the island, so she can't hit the Shokaku for me. So I decide to turn in, activate my precise aim, and hit the Shokaku. But this is again not Roma, I don't have the rapid reload, so I end up getting 2 citadels on the Shokaku. I just need somebody to hit her 1 more time, but sadly that doesn't happen, and the match ends with me getting 102,000 damage and our team lost. But this basically goes to show that the Amagi can still deal a lot of damage if you play correctly. So yeah, that's basically what the replay today is. I also wanted to point out that this replay was shot during the, let's say, the league reset before the update, so there were no such thing as torpedo indicators. I also shot this before I had the captain skill to boost my precise aiming system duration and reduce the cooldown. So yeah, that's basically why the precise aim is only lasting me 1 salvo. I also just wanted to say that personally I think every ship can be played well if played right. So basically you just need to grasp the playstyle of the ship, which basically means the strengths and cons, and work them in your favor so you can get high damage. And that basically brings us to the end of this video. I hope you guys learned something from this video. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more content. You can check out my socials, which are my Facebook and my Discord, which I've linked down in the video description down below. If you guys also want me to talk about any other ship or give tips and tricks about other things, don't forget to leave a comment down in the comment section. That's all for now. My name's HL, and I'll see you guys next time.